Joining us this afternoon. My name is Teal Baskerville, and I'm the head of public programs at the Clark. On behalf of the entire Clark team, I'm so thrilled to introduce today's virtual concert titled In a Sound Place, which has been organized and will be performed by members of the Williams College Percussion Ensemble, who are much beloved collaborators and friends of ours at the Clark. Today's concert is also the first in what we will hope will be many more virtual performances to come as a part of the Clark's new remote programming platform called Clark Connects. If you haven't already, I encourage you to visit the Clark's website and our social media pages, where you can discover the rest of our virtual programming, which includes at-home gallery talks, collections-based activities and projects pages, and much, much more. You can also sign up for our newsletter to receive updates and announcements about our other upcoming virtual events. But all of that after today's concert, of course. For now, I'll turn it over to Matt Gold, the ensemble's director, to tell you a bit more about this afternoon's program. Thanks again, and over to you, Matt.
Thank you, Teal. And again, yes, I'm Matthew Gold, the director of the Williams Percussion Ensemble, and we are thrilled to be with you today. A huge thanks to Teal and everyone at the Clark for hosting this event. And this is really our first concert together since separating in March and going our separate ways in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But we couldn't be more excited to be here today. Over the years, we've collaborated with the Clark frequently and done a number of really special projects, and it's one of our favorite places to perform. So it's really special that we can do this through their virtual site, through their site today. But of course, we're not actually at the Clark right now. We are each in our own spaces, coming from our own homes, our own studios, and collaborating in that way. And as such, we've put together a program that responds to that situation. We are collaborating through the now ubiquitous medium of Zoom, and it has its limitations and its constraints. But at the same time, we found it to be an opportunity to think creatively about how to make music together despite this, and to even use some of the limitations, the constraints, or the unique properties of this medium. Today's program is called In a Sound Place, and again, we are thrilled to be presenting it. The first work on the program is called Slips by Casey Anderson. And as I said, each of these works deals in some way with some aspect of collaborating through this medium. And one of the main things that comes up is the issue of time, because we're not existing in the same real time together. There's latency, there are things that affect it. And this is a work that addresses that in some ways. The score calls for the performers to read a text together, a text of their own choosing, and to perform a couple operations on it. One is to freeze on a vowel, or the other to freeze on a sibilant while reading the text. And this produces what he describes as a loosely synchronized distortion. For the text for this performance, we chose excerpts from Jenny Holzer's Living series, in part because we thought it sounded really good, the words, the way they flow, the way they sound, but also because parts of this collection are in fact at the Clark, and it was a way for us to engage with it directly and to in some way read the space. So we will begin with Casey Anderson's Slips.
It is unfair to tear somebody apart when her health and exuberance threaten you. The heart can stop when you hear something not meant for your ears. The consolation is that this might be the truth. You wonder if the pain in the side you get from mild exertion would go away if you were chased by someone with a broken bottle. You're home free as soon as no one knows where to find you. Many individuals practice self-limitation. They attempt little of what they could
realize intellectually or practically.
This is a result of oppression or a natural phenomenon.
Is unclear.
Sometimes the most decadent find privilege
In giving away their privileges.
In their lives, so a balance is struck. You have a sick one on your hands when your affection is used to punish you.
How concise that you can cry from awful wounds, desertion, happiness, memory,
praise, humiliation.
Portions can be made on small items. Enough candy can be
Parlayed into houses, fat animals, and landscaping.
Pets can be chosen by their ability to express great excitement, affection, and gratitude.
Reptiles don't show much, but are valued as exotic.
A single relationship can poison every minute of the day, waking or sleeping. When this drags on,
you have to question the sanity or criminality of those involved.
Yourself can seem to be in one part of your
the right eye rather than
the left.
to support this split between one and the other that makes civil war possible. A familiar hillside looks tender in the winter when there are bare
trees sticking up.
The same goes for bodies with stubble when you're sentimental
About a shaved person.
You can ignore a baby's cries even if the response is irritation. This is one of the built-in safeguards that's supposed to guarantee the survival of the race. The impulse is to squeeze and fondle baby wild animals, but then they'd be broken, and what good would they be? Bitter cold, all the fluids therein, if not frozen, are stiff and slow. It's wise to be on guard if you're always surrounded by people who are compelled to be nice to you. You're better off anonymous and part of the group. I saw their stunning bodies go slack and get hair in the wrong places, and I vowed I would not permit that to happen to me. How good to supply the necessary comforts, nutrients, and lessons so that the optimal number of young things grow to maturity and enjoy it. With time, manufactured items lose their identity and look more like their ingredients. Resemble piles of clay. This is discouraging when you think about all of the right things and when you're happy that things go away. Many people take pleasure in marking and scarring themselves. Comes a time when the same individuals start to conserve their strength and beauty. It's nice when you start
like someone
and without declaring yourself, do what's possible to further his happiness. This can take the form of gifts, lovely food, publicity, or advanced warning. When you're trying something new, you're torn between anticipating a delightful surprise and thinking you're a fool to ignore what you know you like. Sometimes you have no other choice but to watch something gruesome occur. You don't have the option of closing your eyes because it happens fast and enters your memory. Having 2 or 3 people in love with you is like having money in the bank. The smallest thing can make something sexually unappealing. A misplaced mole or a particular hair pattern can do it. No reason for this, but it's just as well. You can watch people align themselves when trouble is in the air. Some prefer to be close to those at the top and others want to be near those at the bottom. It's a question of who frightens them more and whom they want to be like. Fun watching
people wound themselves so that they can hold up.
Themselves back to health and repeat the cycle. Don't know what else to do.
Obviously, you strike out
people within range.
To affect someone when you're angry. Choose enemies impossibly far away so you never have to fight. Hands-on socialization promotes happy interpersonal
relations. Higher
and the dependence upon fondling ensure repeated attempts to obtain caresses and the willingness to reciprocate. The mouth is interesting because it's one of the places where the dry outside moves toward the slippery inside.
The second work on our program is a work by Nomi Epstein called Combine, Juxtapose, and Delayed Overlap. Now, this is a work for open instrumentation in which players are asked to choose 3 sounds. We are percussionists, and generally, when we are in our home space, we have access to many, many instruments, a huge range of things. But now that everybody is in their actual home space, their individual home spaces, there's a real limit to that. Some have access to more conventional instruments, some have very few of those things. And so for this piece, we all decided to go find the objects around us, the everyday things in our lives on which we can make sound and explore them. And so, in a sense, the instruments of this piece, the things we're using to make this piece, are the very things that are in our own environments and in our everyday lives. There are 3 things that happen in this piece in different orders. We combine our sounds, we play our sounds sequentially, and we overlap them in a sequence. and you'll hear each of these combinations through that. So this is normally Epstein's combined, juxtaposed, delayed overlap. For the next work on today's program, we'll be presenting a piece by Rebecca Kuo, one of the members of the ensemble. And while I get that all set up, I'm going to ask Rebecca to say just a few words about it.
Yeah, I wrote Trio for Cups in 2018, my freshman year at Williams. It was originally scored for red solo cup and 2 types of dining hall cups. I was actually inspired by seeing videos online of busking street bucket drummers. And I loved their sound and their energy, but I didn't have any buckets at the time. So, I did have cups. And, in this time when we are all so far from our normal instruments, I hope that Trio for Cups is a demonstration of, how music can be made even when we don't have our instruments with us.
Thank you, Rebecca. And I just want to point out that this performance is not live. This week, the individual players made videos of their parts, sent them to Rebecca, and then she assembled it into this form. So you will see each player in the space I think they're in right now with their own cups, then put together, compiled by Rebecca. Right, thank you, Rebecca. I also want to point out that the performers on that recording were Tiffany Tien, who you can see in one of your squares there, Jeffrey Salmon, and one of the members of the group who could not join us today, Roman Ruiz, who was able to record his part and send it in. So we were thrilled to have Roman be part of this, at least, I guess, double virtually. Before we move on to the next piece on the program, I just want to say a few words about some of the ways we've been approaching this project and putting this program together. We talked about time a little bit in the first piece and the kind of found sounds we're using in the next two. The next piece, I wanted to find something that somehow dealt with space. And this is a piece by Scott Wolschlager called Folding that has, well, a lot of space in it. Musical space that starts to feel like physical space. And that I felt like could be a way that we could play together but leave openings for one another to hear each other. And before we play the work, before we move on to that piece, I'd just like to take a moment to introduce the members of the ensemble and point out where they are. Because I think one of the really special things about this is usually we all meet in a place like a concert hall or at the Clark, and the performers are there, the audience are there, and we're together. Here, despite the fact that we're so separate and remote in so many ways, we're also having a window into each other's lives. We're connecting in some more intimate way in some ways. So, yeah, I think it'd be nice to just hear who everybody is and where we are. So let's start with Tiffany, because you were in my upper left-hand corner.
Hi everyone, I'm Tiffany. I'm a senior and I'm currently in Manhattan.
Daniel.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a junior at Bennington College, and I'm in Northern Virginia.
Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a sophomore at Williams College, and I'm in Buffalo, New York.
And from somewhere in the wilds of central New York, Jeff Miller.
Hi, I'm Jeff Miller. I wished I was a student, but I'm not. I work for the college. You've probably seen me if you've come to some of our shows. But I'm very, very excited to be a part of this concert and to be performing with these amazing musicians. And I'm in Cortland, New York.
Jeffrey Salmon.
Hi, I'm the other Jeff. I'm a junior at Williams, and I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
And TJ Watkins.
Hi, I'm TJ. I'm a freshman, and I'm currently in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for introducing yourselves. And yeah, this next work is Folding. All right. That was folding. The next work on the program is sort of a project that we all worked on, and we asked one of the members, Daniel O'Connor, to present a realization of it. This is a project based on a piece by the composer Elvin Lucier, in which he played a melody into a tape recorder and then played the tape recording back into a speaker inside a teapot and manipulated the sound, the resonance, by opening and closing the lid to bring out different overtones. Lucier's piece is called Nothing is Real, and the melodic material that he uses in it is from the Beatles song Strawberry Fields Forever, thus Nothing is Real. And I thought one of the issues of being in our separate places is we're each dealing with a separate acoustic environment. We're not in a rehearsal space or a concert hall where we share that. We're each performing from very different realities and very different sonic realities as well as everything else. And frankly, I think those spaces feel very small right now. And the idea of taking musical material and putting it into a teapot and making it even smaller seemed really interesting to see what would happen, what we could capture and contain in that. And so each member of the group came up with their own interpretation, their own material and instrument on which to play, and their way of playing it back. So the work you're about to hear is a response to Elvin Lucier's Nothing is Real, which in itself is at least somewhat of a response to the Beatles' Strawberry Fields Forever. Thank you, Daniel. The last work on today's program is a piece by Ryan Ross Smith, a composer with whom the ensemble has worked a number of times in the past, especially when Ryan was working on his doctorate at RPI, and he brought us to MPAC in Troy on several occasions to do some projects with him that were really remarkable. And Ryan creates animated scores that are generated often in real time using a visual language to which the players respond. This work, which is called Study Number 38, Variations on Silhouettes, Variations of Incomplete Open Cubes. The score uses the design of those cubes, the idea of them, as a way to, well, create musical information that we can respond to. And we thought that this would be a good way to play together, again, because conventional scores don't really work when we're separate like this. We can't play in real time, we can't connect in that way. We can't link up with a beat, which is what percussionists generally do. But with a score like this that we could share and respond to in real time, we are able to do that. So I will share the score on my screen so that you can see what we are seeing, and we will play the first 6 variations of what is actually a rather long work now. So we'll play about 10 minutes of it. And again, each of us is using some sort of found sounds, some combination of those things. If you want to have a sense of what I'm using, I've got a mixing bowl, a flower pot, a very junky cymbal, an automobile spring coil, a piece of wood, and a circular saw blade. I probably should have put those two next to each other. They are natural enemies, but they seem to be getting along. Okay, so I think if everybody's ready, I will get this score. All right, so we have come to the end of our program today. And I want to thank all the members of the percussion ensemble for doing this. I'd like to thank all of you in the audience for joining us. A huge thanks to everyone at the Clark. I can't imagine a better place to virtually perform this, and we thank you so much for hosting it and for making it happen and for figuring everything out so we could do this. And also a huge thanks to the Williams College Music Department, and we hope to be doing things again and presenting music and seeing each other and seeing all of you as soon as it's possible. So yeah, take care until then. I hope everybody's well and safe and doing well, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.